Hi, I'm Chris Wardlaw for CarGurus, and today we're talking about the pros and cons of the 2016 Fiat 500X. Now, this is a brand new small crossover SUV, and it's got real potential to dramatically increase the appeal and sales of the Fiat brand in the United States. Let's get right to it, talking about three things that I really like about the new 500X. Now, the first thing is the styling. I had driven this about 25 miles before a guy who was coming out of a restaurant with his two sons noticed it and started asking me questions about it. He said it looked great. Now, that's a really good sign, because basically what that means is that Fiat has traded the cuteness of the smaller 500 car line for a more mature and sophisticated look with the new 500X. It's got dramatic European styling, unmistakably Fiat in the front. And the model that I've got here is called the Lounge trim level. You can get one called the Trekking. It's got more rugged SUV styling cues, but the Lounge is designed to be the most upscale looking model. Now, even though the 500X competes in the new mini SUV crossover class in terms of its size and its price, it feels very spacious inside, and that's true for both the front seats and the back seats. In the front seats, you sit up really nice and high behind this thick steering wheel with proper thumb grips, and everywhere you want to rest your elbows, whether it's here on this really plush center armrest or on these super plush door panel armrests, is very comfortable. I mean, you are not going to complain much about driving a Fiat 500X in terms of comfort. Your front passenger is also going to be happy because it comes with a standard seat height adjuster. Now, that comes on all 500X models, and that's kind of a big deal for a lot of people, especially my wife, who likes to sit higher in a vehicle instead of closer to the floor. Plus, higher seat heights also make it easy to get in and out. Now, as far as the back seat is concerned, I'm not going to get back there because my daughter's child seat's installed behind me, but you should know that the bottom cushion for the back seat is also sitting up high. It provides great thigh support, and the front seat backs are nice and soft, so they're kind to knees and shins in case they come in contact with them. So the 500X has got a 180 horsepower 2.4 liter four-cylinder engine, and it actually provides decent acceleration, especially if you have it in sport mode instead of automatic mode. There is a selector switch right here in the center console that allows you to switch between those two different modes. Now, I've been averaging about 21.9 miles per gallon this week. The EPA says that a front-wheel drive 500X with this engine should be getting around 25 miles per gallon. But to be fair, a lot of my driving was city and suburban and not conducted on the highway. Now, other than the satisfying engine, I really like this vehicle's handling and ride quality. It's not stiff. It's taut, but it's not stiff. You feel the road, but it's not beating you up. And while there's a little bit of suspension chop because this vehicle sits on a short wheelbase, it's nothing dramatic. I really like the way the electric steering is tuned, and the brakes are no problem at all. Pedal feels great and is responsive in the way that you think that it ought to be. There is one problem with the 500X's driving character, though, and that leads us into some of the things that I don't like about the 500X. Now, when you get a 500X with the 2.4 liter engine, you also get a 9-speed automatic transmission. And this is one of my significant complaint points about this vehicle because it often shifts in a way that I don't expect. And it really doesn't matter what speed I'm going. Sometimes if I'm on the highway and I want to pass somebody, the downshifts are really delayed. Most of the time it works in an unobtrusive fashion. You don't really even notice it. But the times that it doesn't, like when you want extra power, or when it downshifts in an odd way, or when it upshifts too fast, it really draws attention to itself. And I know that Fiat Chrysler Automobiles has been working on refining this transmission ever since they debuted it. I think it's better than it was a year or two ago, but it still isn't quite there. Now, you might ask yourself, why 9 speeds in the first place? It's because automakers are forced to take creative avenues to maximizing fuel economy. And with 9 forward speeds, they're able to keep engine revs down and increase fuel economy. Now, at 21.9 miles per gallon, I'm not sure that really worked in this vehicle, but at least they're trying. Now, the 500X has the potential to really expand the brand's appeal with families. The problem is that it's not quite family friendly. Now, you can see I've got a full-size suitcase in here and a stroller, but it takes creative packaging to get these items in, and that's with this cargo floor at its lowest position. In its standard position, it sits on these shelves and gives you a very small bin underneath. But because of the distance from the seat back to the hatch, you can't put 2 suitcases side by side. You can't stack a full-size suitcase on its end. And then once 2 suitcases are in there, you would not be able to get at least my stroller design in here. And they're so close. All they need is just a couple of extra inches of room, and they'd resolve that problem. Now, the other problem has to do with my experience using the latch anchors in the back seat. Now, when I installed my daughter's child seat in here, the fabric that's right above the latch anchor on this side would not accept the latch design that I have, the strap design. So I had to actually install it upside down on one side, then twist the strap as it came behind the seat, and then install it properly on this side of the car. And because the latch strap was then twisted like this, I had to make sure that I had the regular seat belt also installed for security purposes. Now, once it was in here, it barely moves, which is a good sign. But if you're going to buy a 500X and haul kids in it, you're going to want to check to see if your car seat fits properly. Okay, we've got to address the elephant in the room here, and that pertains to Fiat reliability. Historically, the brand isn't known for it. And since it relaunched in America a few years ago, it hasn't performed well in various studies undertaken by Consumer Reports and J.D. Power. Now, the 500X is a brand new vehicle designed from the ground up in partnership with Chrysler. It's built in Italy, and it comes with a 4-year, 50,000-mile powertrain warranty, which is a little bit less than its platform mate, the Jeep Renegade. Should these things matter to you? Well, that's up to you to decide. Right now, it seems like the deck might be stacked against the 500X a little bit, but until these have been on the road for a few years and Fiat proves that it can build a reliable vehicle, there's always going to be that question mark. So what's the verdict when it comes to the Fiat 500X? Is this a vehicle you should go and test drive right away? Is it a work in progress, or should you just cross it right off your shopping list? I'd say that as long as you're okay with how the 9-speed automatic transmission shifts, and you don't mind the fact that cargo space is a little bit lacking, then you should definitely go and test drive this stylish new little crossover SUV. Just keep in mind that as this vehicle is launched and as this review is filmed, there's still a question about whether or not it's going to prove reliable, and it hasn't been crash tested yet. And those are 2 key buying factors when you're choosing this type of vehicle. For my full review on the 500X, be sure to check CarGurus.com, and thanks for watching.